Hello everyone and welcome to Retail Archaeology and a quick update on Claire's. Claire's stores are pretty much ubiquitous in malls. I think most malls in the United States have a Claire's store. I did a video back in 2018 when Claire's filed for their first bankruptcy that covered a lot of their history and the situation and issues surrounding that first bankruptcy, and you may have noticed that I've said first a couple of times. That's the reason for this update video. At the beginning of August, Claire's filed for their second bankruptcy. When I first started the Retail Archaeology channel, I covered a lot of bankruptcies of large retailers, and 7 to 8 years later, it seems like that I'm covering a lot of second bankruptcies from a lot of those same retailers. Claire's gave a few reasons for the bankruptcy. Obviously, one of the main reasons being that profits are down, which is making it harder to service the debt that they're carrying. And they blame competing with online sales, and also the current tariff situation is making business just too difficult to continue operations. This location, which is at Superstition Spring Center, is currently not closing. However, just a few weeks before this footage was filmed, I had come to this location when the bankruptcy was first announced and tried to film some footage and found that this location was marked as one of the ones that's closing. You can see the closing sale signs there. And if we take a look inside the store, you can see the liquidation sale discount signs hanging up all over the place. When Claire's initially filed for bankruptcy at the beginning of August, they had stated that if they were unable to find a buyer for the business, that they would probably have to liquidate all the stores. And they started store closing sales at many stores. The interesting thing was, when I first got to this location, there was actually somebody getting their ear pierced, even though the store was actively closing. Now, I thought that they would not be able to find a buyer, at least to save the stores, and maybe just find a buyer for the Claire's name, and that we would see more stuff like this, these little Claire's displays at places like this Albertsons grocery store. Here's another one that I saw recently at a CVS. These kind of little Claire's little pop-up displays have been, I feel like, appearing more and more. This one here is an interesting one. This is when I first started noticing them. This is some old footage from some of my Toys R Us videos, and this was like a big Claire's store within a store thing they had set up at Toys R Us. And it was thought that doing these little pop-up stores would help save the Claire's company at the time, but obviously it didn't help. After all of the Toys R Us stores closed, I don't think I ever saw Claire's pop-up locations quite as big as I did in the old Toys R Us stores. Back to the location at Superstition Spring Center though, this is the more current footage. You can see that all of the store closing signs and everything have been removed, because the good news is a buyer was found for Claire's. The private equity firm Ames Watson has offered to purchase the United States Claire's operations for $140 million, which $104 million of that would be cash. This deal doesn't seem like one of those ridiculous leveraged buyout deals, so it may be possible for Claire's to be revitalized and maybe make a comeback. The company Ames Watson has purchased other companies like Lids and Champions Teamwear in the past and was able to revitalize those brands. The purchase offer is still subject to court approval, but it doesn't sound like there's going to be much of an issue with that. Originally, if Claire's was going to have to liquidate all of their stores in the US, it would have been around 1,300 stores closing. Now, with this purchase offer, the plan is to save most of the Claire's stores. However, from what I've read, they do sound like they plan on closing around 300 stores still. But most Claire's stores would be saved by this purchase. When I had heard Claire's filed for bankruptcy, I had pretty much immediately started working on a video about it, and the way it was going, I assumed I was going to be making a video about the end of Claire's in the United States. But things changed rather quickly. Because there are Claire's stores located in most malls in the United States, I kind of view them as a canary in the coal mine for malls in general. When I thought all Claire's locations were going to close, that made it seem like just malls in general were really on borrowed time. I am glad that Claire's was able to get another chance at survival, but there are still plenty of issues they're going to have to fix, like, for example, still selling iPhone 6 covers in their store. That's a pretty old phone. But what are your thoughts on Claire's? Is it a store that you have memories shopping in, and would you have been upset if all of the Claire's stores ended up closing? I'd love to know down in the comments below. As always, everyone, thanks for watching. Want to see your name here? Head on over to patreon.com/retailarchaeology to find out how you can help support the channel. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this quick video on Claire's. If you liked it, please make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and also make sure to follow at the social media links down there because that's the best way to keep up with what's going on with the Retail Archaeology channel.